I am Dr. W. Gunade from Kamlanand Mahavidyalaya, Nagpur. Today we are going to discuss the crystal field theory of the complexes. In this we are going to discuss what are the limitations of VBT, and after that what are the important postulates of the CFT, that is crystal field theory, and then based on this CFT we are discussing the structures or the formation of complex in case of the octahedral complex and tetrahedral complex. So, and what are the low spin and high spin complexes, and different aspect about the CFT we are discussing in today's presentation. So today's topic is coordination compound, chapter number 9, and today's part is the 6th number, and today we are going to discuss the important theory, that is CFT. So the topics that we have covered here are the what are the limitations of valence bond theory, after that what is crystal field theory, and after that the splitting of the orbital and formation of octahedral, factor affecting the CF crystal field splitting, and color of octahedral complex, tetrahedral complexes, and some applications of the coordination compound. All these are the topics are given here. And now some limitations are there. Valence bond theory also explain the formation of complex. First theory was the Werner's theory of the coordination compound. Werner's theory give formation of some complexes, but also they have some limitation. After that, valence bond theory. Valence bond theory also explain the formation of structure of coordination compound, but also have some limitations, and limitations are here. It does not explain high spin and low spin complexes. In other words, we can say that strong and weak field nature of the ligand cannot be distinguished or cannot be explained by the valence bond theory. But now CFT can clearly explain what are the low spin and what are the high spin complexes or ligands. And also here, so this VBT does not give any explanation or distinguish between the strong field ligand and the weak field ligand. And second point is that it does not also give any explanation for the color of coordination compound. So the VBT does not explain the color of the compound, but CFT explain the color of the complexes of coordination compound by clearly shows there is a transition, and this DD transition is explained by CFT but not by VBT. Third point is that the structure of complexes predicted from the valence bond theory would not always match necessarily with the determined from the experiment. So this is the third limitation, that structure of the complexes obtained on the basis of valence bond theory would not always match with the determined from the experiment. So these are the three limitations of valence bond theory. All these limitations have been overcome by the CFT, and can be CFT is better theory for explaining the structure of the complexes. So to overcome all these difficulties, valence bond theory difficulties of the valence bond theory, his CFT has been proposed, and which is widely been accepted. So this is the important theory, that CFT, and the CFT explain most of the features of the limitations of the valence bond theory. So here this is the crystal field theory, and it has some important features, and actually this theory was given by Van Leek and Bethe, the scientists, and they applied mainly to the ionic crystals, and therefore they are known as crystal field theory. In short, we can say that CFT. It was not until 1952 that Ozell popularized its use of inorganic chemist, and this theory regards to the ligand atoms of ionic ligand such as fluoride, chloride, cyanide, negative point charges. And here, so important features are here to explain the CFT. So the three important features are there of the CFT, that is also called assumptions. So number one is that the ligand is treated as a point charges, the negative point charge. So as we know that ligands are different types, neutral ligands, negatively charged, positive. But in case of CFT, the important feature is that in CFT all ligands are treated as a negative point charge. This is the important point. Whether it is positive or negative or neutral, all ligands in the CFT are treated as a negative point charge. This is the important point, and therefore interaction between the ligands are treated as a negative point charge, and therefore metal having positive charge. So the interaction between metal ion and the ligand is purely electrostatic in nature, and therefore the bond present is a 100% ionic bond. and again now there is no any orbital overlap between the metal and ligand orbitals. So in isolated gaseous metal ion, 5d orbitals are degenerate. So all the 5d orbitals, as we know that there are d orbitals, 5d orbitals are there, and they are degenerate. Means they have same energy, they are equal. So this is the important first point, that all ligands are treated as a negative point charge, in which an interaction taking place between the metal ion and the ligand, and that interaction between metal ion and the ligand is purely electrostatic, and therefore bond pageant is 100% only, and there is no any orbital overlap between the orbitals of the metal and the ligands. Second important point is that when ligand approach toward the metal ion, they create a crystal field around the metal ion, and therefore it is symmetrical to the that is, we can say that d orbital remain intact. The d orbital split up into two sets. When the ligand approach toward the metal ion, then degeneracy of d orbital remain intact in the metal ion, but symmetrical d orbitals are 5, they are degenerate for d orbital, but when the ligand approach toward the metal ion, then degeneracy is destroyed, and what is d orbital are split up into two set of orbital. So this is the important second point, that second point is that when the ligand approach toward the metal ion, then degeneracy of the 5d orbital get disturbed, and the d orbitals are split up into two set of orbital, and these two set of orbitals are, one is a T2g set and second is a EG set. So this is the second number point. Third important, and this separation of T2g and EG set of orbital are separated by the parameter. That parameter is the delta O. Delta O or delta, which is also known as crystal field splitting parameter. So the T2g and EG set are separated by the distance, that is separated by the parameter which is known as crystal field splitting parameter. And third important postulate or assumption is that the crystal field splitting parameter depends upon the strength of ligand. Again now, so splitting, this crystal field splitting in the complex depends upon the strength of the ligand, whether ligands are strong ligand or whether ligands are weak ligand. So depending upon that, there are two types of ligand, and shown here, some are the strong field ligand, some are the weak field ligand. And now strong field ligand are those in which atoms are carbon, nitrogen or phosphorus. They causes large splitting of the orbital and pairing of electron favored. So there is a pairing of electron. These generally form the low spin complexes. So when we use the strong field ligand, then it form low spin complexes, whereas weak field ligand are those in which donor atoms are halogen, oxygen or sulfur, and these are generally forming the high spin complexes. So depending upon the nature of ligand, whether the ligand is strong field or weak field, if the strong field ligand is there, then they form low spin complex. Weak field ligand forms strong, that is the high spin complexes. So here these are the three important features of CFT, first, second and third, and based on all these we can explain the splitting of these different types of geometry. So here this is the first, splitting of the orbital and formation of octahedral complex. So in case of splitting of the orbital, the formation of octahedral complex, and here there are 5 degenerate d orbitals, and these 5d orbitals are split up into two set of orbital. One is T2g set and this is EG set. T2g set, 3 orbitals are there, dxy, dyj, dxz, and in case of EG set of orbital, 2 orbitals are there, ds square, y square and dz square. And as we know that in case of 5d orbitals, the shape in case of these 3 orbitals, dxy, dyj, dxz, the lobes are present between the axes. For example, dxy, the lobes are present between x and y axis. In case of these two orbitals, the lobes are present along the axis. For example, dx square, y square, the lobes are present along x and y axis. So the difference is there. And now this is the barycenter. This is in the CFT diagram. This is the center, and this is known as barycenter. And this is the lower part, and this is the higher upper part. In case of T2G, here now T2G having lower energy, EG having higher energy. Why T2G having lower energy? Again, it depends upon the T2G. There is a splitting. What is now here? In case of the T2G orbitals, dxy, dyj, dxz, the lobes are present between the axis, and these orbitals of metal are not facing toward the ligand. And we know that arrangement of the octahedral geometry, and so at the 6 corners ligands are there and these metal orbitals are there. So there is a less splitting between the metal orbital and the ligands. In case of these orbital, as we know that in case of d square, y square, dz square, the lobes are present along the axis, and therefore there is a face-to-face interaction, and therefore there is a greater repulsion is there, and therefore interaction is there, and because of greater repulsion, the energy of these orbitals are higher, and in this case they are not facing each other, therefore the energy decreases, and therefore they are having lower energy. And here, if the one electron, this is lower, this is higher energy. So this is the, if the one electron is there, the electron goes to the lower energy orbital here, and having this is the 2.5 delta O, and these two sets are separated by the delta O. Delta O is the crystal field splitting energy, and this is CFSE, and delta O for octahedral. So this is the two sets are separated by this delta O, and delta O value is here for each electron in T2G set. There is a lowering in energy 2.5 delta O, and here 3.5 delta O. 3.5 delta O means the 0.6 delta O, and this is 0.4 delta O. So this is the barycenter. First electron goes to the lower, and then after filling to the higher energy. And again also now there are two types of complexes, low spin and high spin complexes. So this is the CFT diagram for the octahedral octahedral geometry, and as we know that on the basis of orientation of the lobes of the 5D orbitals with respect to the coordinate, these 5D orbitals are split up into two set of groups. First, now I am explaining that these first in case of first this group of orbital which have their lobes along the axis, hence they are called axial orbital. In case of EG orbital, and d x square, y square, and d z square orbital, group theory calls EG set of orbital, in which E refer to the doubly degenerate set. So E for doubly degenerate, G for gerate, EG is there, E for the refer to the doubly degenerate set, and G for gerate means same. Second point is that the T2G group of orbital include orbital whose lobes lie between the axis and are called non-axial orbital. Group theory called T2G orbital, where T refer to the triply degenerate set, T for triply degenerate set, and G for gerate, and means same. So in case of free metal line, all the 5D orbitals are degenerate. In case of when the metal lines are free, in case of free metal line, all the 5D orbitals are degenerate, and these have been same energy. Consider the octahedral complex, in which the central metal ion is placed at the center of the octahedron and is surrounded by 6 ligands which are surrounding to this central metal ion at the 6 corners, and 3 axes are there, x, y, z axes are there, which point along the corners of the edge in case of the 3 axes. And now as we have seen that depending upon the lobes of the orbital, and there is a splitting is taking place, and now it is observed that in case of the separation of 5D orbital of the metal ion into two set of orbital having different energy is called crystal field splitting energy. This concept of CFT or CF crystal field splitting makes the basis for the CFT, and the energy gap between T2G and EG set is denoted by the delta O, or also known as 10 dq, where O is in delta O indicate octahedral arrangement of the ligand around the central metal cation. This energy difference because of the difference in the electrostatic field exerted by the ligand T2G and EG set of orbitals of the central metal cation, and also 10 delta, that is 10 dq or delta O is also known as crystal field splitting energy, CFSE in short. With the help of simple geometry, it can be shown that energy of T2G orbital is 0.4 delta O, less than that of hypothetical degenerate d orbitals, and EG orbitals is 0.6 delta O, above that of the hypothetical degenerate d orbital. We find that T2G set loses an energy equal to 0.4 delta O, while EG set gain energy equal to 0.6 delta O. So this figure shows clearly the splitting of the orbital in case of octahedral geometry. So this is the octahedral geometry, octahedral splitting in case of octahedral complexes. Now here, depending upon the arrangement, now D1, D2, D3, D1 means one electron present in the d orbital. So in case of D1, D2 and D3, only one spin state is there in case of octahedral, but from D4 to D4, D5, D6 and D7, there are two spin states are there, high spin and low spin state. As we know that in case of octahedral, T2G having 3 orbitals and EG having 2 orbitals. So here, this is the high spin complex, this is low spin complex. So in case of high spin complex, what is now electron goes D4 means 4 electrons are there. So electron goes 1, 2, 3 and 4th electron go in a EG set. So 4 unpaired electrons are there. In case of low spin, electrons filled in the same way. In case of low spin, T2G orbital filled first, and then after filling complete, then electron go to the EG setup orbital. So 4 electron goes 1, 2, 3 and 4th electron get paired here. So in case of in case of low spin complexes, the low T2G orbital filled first and then electron go to the EG. But in this case of high spin, electron go one by one to all the 5 orbitals. So here, so D4 have, this is high spin and this is low spin. In case of D5 also similarly, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All the orbitals have 1 electron. Here 5 electrons are in T2G. So this is the configuration known as T2G3 EG2. Here T2G5 EG0. So this is the D5. In case of D6, in case of D7, D6 also having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 paired. And here also 6 electrons, 3 orbitals are there. Each orbital can have maximum 2 electrons. So each orbital have 2, so 6 electrons are in T2G, and so configuration here is T2G6 EG0. Here T2G4 EG2. And in case of D7, T2G5 EG2. T2G6 EG1. So different configurations are there in high spin and low spin complexes. So D4, D5, D6, D7 in octahedral complexes there are 2 spin states, that is high spin and low spin state. Whereas in case of D1, D2, D3, D8, D9, D10 only 1 spin state is there. There is no possibility of 2 spin. So only D4, D5, D6, D7 show 2 spin, high spin and low spin state in the octahedral complexes. So this is the one table shows the high spin and low spin complexes. Now some factors are there which are also affecting the crystal field splitting parameter, and 2 important factors are there, and these 2 important factors is one, we can say that nature of metal ion and also nature of ligand. And in case of nature of metal ion, here is shown the it also affect the value, and the factor studied here, number of factors are there, but these 2 factors are given here. The magnitude of crystal field splitting depends on the strength of the ligand, whether ligand is strong ligand or weak ligand. If the strong ligands are there, it forms a low spin complex. If the weak field ligands are there, they form the high spin complex. So depending upon the ligands, nature of ligand, whether it is high spin or low spin, they form they affect the crystal field splitting of the ligand. So now here, and also it is observed that in case of when the ligands are weak, the delta O value is small, and in case of the when ligands are strong, then delta O is large. So these 2 differences are there, and therefore again I am repeating that the nature of ligand or strength of ligand is affecting the value of crystal field splitting, and strong ligand, weak ligands are there. In case of weak ligands, delta O is small, and in case of a strong ligand, delta O is large. So as we know, this is the figure, and here this is the delta O value. In case of weak field ligand, delta O is small. In case of strong ligand, delta O is large. So depending upon that, there are 2, and depending upon the nature of ligand, delta O value get affected. And here this is the one example that is shown here, whether ligands are strong or weak. So distribution of electrons taking place in strong and weak field ligand, and they show and affect the value of delta O. When the ligands are weak, then when ligands are weak, in that case the energy difference, that is delta O, between T2G and EG set is small, and hence all the 5 d orbitals of the 2 set may be supposed to be degenerate. That is, in the presence of weak ligand, all the d orbitals have same energy, and consequently the distribution of d electron in T2G and EG set take place according to the Hund's rule, which state that electron will pair up only when each of the 5d orbital is at least singly filled, and therefore in weak field the first 3 electron numbered as 1, 2, 3, that is T2G level, and those number 4, 5 are EG set, and therefore we can say that, so in the formation of the complexes, by using this the complexes like COF6 3-, which contain weak ligand, are also called weak field or low field complexes. And in this case, delta O is less than P. P is the pairing energy, and delta O is the octahedral crystal field splitting. So delta O tends to force as many electron to T2G set, while P tends to prevent the electron to pair in the T2G level. And it is opposite to the in case of ligands are strong. So in case of strong ligand, distribution of the electron in T2G and EG set does not obey Hund's rule. Therefore, stronger field, in case of stronger field, first 6 electron goes to the 1 by 1 in all the orbital, and in this case they form strong field or high field complexes. And in this case the complexes delta O is greater than P, and delta O is larger than P, and so two types of ligands are there. So depending upon the strength of the ligand, whether strong or weak, they affecting the value of delta O. So delta O value is affected by the nature of ligand. Second is the oxidation state of metal. Metal with higher oxidation, higher positive charge is able to draw ligand closer to it than that with the lower one. And here we can say that in nature of metal or oxidation state of the metal also affecting the value of delta O, and in that case we can say that different points are there, different charges on the cation of the same metal. Different charges are there on the cation of the same metal is there. In that case the metal cation from the atom of the same transition series having the same oxidation state have almost same value of delta O, but cation with the higher oxidation state has a larger value of delta O than that with the lower oxidation state. So in this case the two complexes are there of the same metal, and it is observed that for example Fe2 and Fe3. So Fe3 is having greater charge, Fe2 having 2 plus charge. So Fe2 3 plus complex have greater value of delta O. So we can say that charge present on the metal ion also affecting the value of delta O. And also the second point is that different charges present on the cation with the different metal. Metals are different and different charges are there, and in that case we can say that the cation with higher oxidation state has larger value of delta O. For example, now we can consider vanadium 2 plus and chromium 3 plus. So chromium have 3 plus and vanadium have 2 plus. So those are having the higher positive charge, they have the higher value of delta O. So different charges on the cation with the different metal also affecting the value of delta O. So those are metal ion having higher charge, having the higher value of delta O. Another example also we can say that same charges on the cation but the number of d electrons are different. Same charge on the cation but the number of d electrons are different. So now example here we can say that cobalt 2 plus and nickel 2 plus. In case of cobalt 2 plus and it is a D7, in case of nickel 2 plus it is a D8. So here the delta O value for cobalt 2 plus is greater as compared to nickel 2 plus, and delta O value decreases with the increase of the number of d electron in the central metal cation. So these are the some points that delta O value get affected by the nature of ligand and by the nature of metal. So these are the 2 points. And color of the octahedral complexes is also affected, and color can be explained, and as we know that most of the complexes are colored, and here formation of octahedral complex is accompanied by the splitting of d orbital in T2G and EG set. The two sets of orbital separated by delta value of octahedral, and now as we know that color of the complexes are generally because of the presence of unpaired electron, and also second here DD transition. And here we this is the one example is shown of DD transition of D1 system, and here this is the T2G set in octahedral and EG. So one electron D1 means one electron in d orbital, that is in a T2G set 1. So this electron having low energy, now this electron can be promoted to higher energy orbital. So this is from one d orbital to other d orbital. So this is known as the DD transition. An example of D1 system is the hexa-ico titanium 3 plus complex. And in this complex titanium have 3 plus charge. In this complex titanium have the 3 plus charge because water is a neutral, and 3 plus charge means titanium have the atom number 22. Configuration in the ground state is argon 3d2 4s2, 2 electron from 4s and 1 from 3d, so 3 electron loss and only 1 electron is left in case of titanium 3 plus. So titanium 3 plus have 1 electron in the d orbital, and this is this electron, single electron present here in T2g. This is promoted to higher energy. So this is the transition, some energy is absorbed and it is promoted to the higher energy orbital, and this is known as the DD transition. And the complexes where there is a DD transition, they show generally the color. So color of the complexes can be explained on the basis of this DD transition and by CFT diagram. So in case of octahedral, they also show the color. So next point is that, now as we have seen in case of octahedral, now in case of tetrahedral complexes, here this is the tetrahedron, this is the cube, 8 corners are there, but alternate corner when we joined, this pink color shown, 1, 2, this is central metal, 1, 2, 3, 4, when we join we get a tetrahedron. So when we join alternate corners of the tetrahedron of the cube, this is the cube, alternate corners of the cube, when we join we get a tetrahedron, and this is shown thus geometry. In case of tetrahedron complexes, 4 ligands are there, in octahedral 6 ligands are there, and in case of this, as we know, in case of octahedral, T2G have low energy, EG have higher energy. This is splitting, energy splitting diagram, and delta O is the difference between these two set of orbital. Whereas in case of tetrahedral, what is now, this is the difference. In case of tetrahedral, EG set have low energy, T2G have high energy. So we can say that this splitting diagram is exactly opposite to the octahedral, because T2G is here in lower, here T2G in higher. So this diagram is opposite to the octahedral, and here is shown comparison. So see the delta O value is so large, here delta T value is very small. So delta T, this is tetrahedral, delta O tetrahedral, and this is very small as compared to delta O. So comparison is shown. Here is the 5d orbitals of metal ion, 3 metal ion, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this is split up into 2 set. Here also split up into 2 set, and this is EG and T2G. Again, why EG is having low energy, as we know that d(s)2 vascular orbital is not facing toward the ligands, and because the geometry is tetrahedral, in this case when the ligands here d(s)2 vascular, lobes are present, or dz2 also. See here dz2 having on the z axis, so this is the z axis, lobes are present on the z axis, ligands are sideways, so there is no face to face. So but now in case of T2G orbital dxy, so dxy orbitals are present in this way, so there is a greater interaction, and therefore the T2G orbital energy increases and EG orbital energy decreases. So that is why it depends upon the geometry and depend upon the d orbital. So in case of tetrahedral, EG have low energy, T2G have high energy. E and T are the term symbols, also they are called the doubly degenerate and triply degenerate, and this is the barycenter. Here the value is shown. So this is the tetrahedral splitting diagram for tetrahedral and octahedral complexes, and in case of octahedral complexes, we can say that the splitting shows the splitting energy value is very small, and in case of tetrahedral splitting, we can say that complexes, tetrahedral complexes, the diagram is shown, and in this case it is observed that the difference between these two set, T2G and EG set, is the delta T, and it is shown here also in diagram that delta T is smaller as compared to delta O. Delta O is larger. It causes, the cause of which is what is the cause of this T2G orbital? Although we can say that in octahedral complexes there is a ligand along each axis, and in tetrahedral complex no ligand lies directly along the axis. For this reason, and also because there are only 4 ligands in the tetrahedral complexes, while in an octahedral complex there are 6 ligands, the tetrahedral orbital splitting, that is delta, is very less as compared to delta O for the same metal and ligand and the same internuclear distances. So we can say that delta T is equal to 0.45 delta O. So it is smaller, and relation is there, delta T is equals to 0.45 delta O. The energy level of T2G set is raised by 0.4 delta T and 0.6 by what is here, we can say that energy level of T2G set is raised by 0.4 delta T and 0.6 by delta T in the EG set. So this is the delta T is related to the small orbital splitting, spin pairing and tetrahedral complexes. Rather we can say that this is the delta T is less than delta O, or we can say that crystal field splitting favors the formation of octahedral complex. So there is a splitting, this is the diagram, and it favors the splitting favors the octahedral complexes. So this is the diagram how octahedral complexes structure is there and splitting diagram for this. Now there are some applications of the coordination compound, and these applications shown here, 4 important applications of this coordination compounds are there, and in biologically number of complexes are there, and here in biological important compounds are metal complexes are there, and they play important role in the number of process. For example, as we know that chlorophyll present in the plant is a complex of magnesium, and hemoglobin present in the blood is a complex of iron. So they are biologically important complexes. In also medicine, in case of second application medicine, platinum complex cisplatin is used as a treatment of the cancer, and EDTA is a reagent used for the treatment of the lead poisoning. If there is a lead, it forms the stable complex with the lead, and therefore it is used as a medicine, EDTA, for lead poisoning. Third important application is hardness of water. There are 2 types of hardness of water: temporary hardness of water and permanent hardness of water. And temporary hardness of water can be removed by boiling, and permanent hardness of water can be measured or can be determined experimentally. And this hardness of water is due to the presence of calcium or magnesium ions in the water, and therefore here this can be estimated, and therefore to estimate the hardness of water, here the EDTA form the stable complex with the calcium and magnesium, and it can therefore be used to estimate the hardness. Therefore this is another application to estimate the hardness of water, important application. And fourth important application is it can also be some complexes are used as a electroplating, and this for this purpose the complexes of dicyano silver dicyano argentate and dicyano aurate gold and silver complexes are used for the electroplating and of these noble metals, and so these are the 4 important applications of this coordination compound, and they show importance, and this we can say that complexes are very important. So this CFT, today we have seen the we have discussed the different aspect of the CFT, and CFT is given by Van Leek and Bethe, and this theory is better as compared to the valence bond theory. Most of the limitations have been recovered or discussed or explained by the CFT. So CFT give and widely accepted by the majority of the scientists and widely used to know the structures and about the coordination compounds. And so CFT is the well-known, crystal field theory is a well-known theory, and this is the modern theory to explain the structure of the complexes of coordination compounds. So here so much details are there. We can also, why there is a splitting of d orbital. So we can say that because of the electrons of the electrons is a negative electrons of metal ion interact with the negatively charged ligands, and this there is a repulsion, and this is the repulsive force which is responsible for the splitting of d orbital into 2 sets. So degeneracy of the d orbital can be disturbed by approaching the ligand toward the metal ion. So different aspects are there, and splitting of d orbital take place in octahedral, tetrahedral and square planar complexes, tetragonal and trigonal bipyramidal. Different geometries are there, but here only 2 are given, octahedral and tetrahedral. So splitting delta O or delta T is smaller, delta O is larger, and depends upon the nature of metal, depending upon the nature of ligand, the delta O value are affected. and so delta value depends upon the nature of ligand and nature of metal. So different splitting diagram for octahedral, tetrahedral, and the application we have discussed in today's part. So here this chapter is complete, and in the next part we are going to discuss the S and P block elements.